Buenas noches y bienvenidos a otro episodio de Minuto 90. Hoy les habla Carlos Román, el piche de arreglarle esto aquí. Hoy tenemos un invitado especial y quiero decirle a ustedes desde ahora, todo va a ser diferente porque todo va a ser un Spanglish. Hoy está con nosotros el recién retirado Cody Laurendi. Pero antes, síganos en nuestras redes sociales, en Minuto 90 Radio, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, donde ustedes quieran. Así que hoy voy a tener una conversación bastante interesante con él porque yo creo que Cody ha sido un portero significativo para nuestra selección. No tanto porque empatamos 1-1 los otros días en las eliminatorias, pero ya que ustedes lo conozcan un poco, lo voy a estar presentando y creo que tiene mucha personalidad, así que voy a estar traduciendo español e inglés y así para hacerlo todo más fácil. Vamos a darle la bienvenida aquí a Cody, añadiéndole: Cody, qué bueno que estás aquí en Minuto 90. How you doing? How you feeling now in your retirement? All that kind of stuff. And welcome to Minuto 90.
Yes, Carlos, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm feeling great. I retired a few days ago off the back of in my opinion and in a lot of our opinions, great result for the national team. It's something that I've been thinking about for a while now, retiring, that is. And I felt what better opportunity to go out on than the national team stage, playing against a nation like Trinidad and Tobago. So,
okay. Así que,
all good.
Cody aquí nos explica donde esta decisión que él tomó ya la había pensado hace un tiempo. Menciona que el resultado que tuvimos fue muy productivo, fue bueno, fue satisfactorio. Y ahora pues le estaré preguntando sobre su retiro y qué va a hacer ahora, porque el portero de 32 años anunció su retiro este lunes. No lo esperaban porque no teníamos ninguna información, así que vamos a ir adelante. So Cody, I was trying to explain what you did. Your retirement, it was back in Monday. So why you did it? First of all, why you did it? For us, the media, it was kind of shocking. It was kind of shocking that you announced it right after a great match, especially tying 1-1 against Trinidad, huge rival in the CONCACAF. So I just want to know what's going on. I know you said it was more about something that you think a long time ago, but just give a few details of what happened.
Of course. So this year was a big year for me personally. I got married.
Okay.
My wife and I. Thank you so much. My wife and I purchased a house here in Oklahoma City,
okay,
where I've lived, and I've had the pleasure of living for the past 5 years, which in professional sports, professional soccer, that's very rare. I built
college.
Say it again.
It's a college area more.
Yeah. So Norman, Oklahoma, college football, right? College football is what really dominates the sport here. But for me personally, moving on with a professional career, to uproot my family here in Oklahoma City, to go to another city to basically start over, it was not in our best interests, from a family perspective, and then also from an economic perspective.
Okay, ahora explicando un poco lo que Cody está mencionando. Él se encuentra ahora mismo en Oklahoma City. Menciona que es una ciudad que profesionalmente no es tan grande. Ahora está su ex equipo OKC Energy, pero que es más conocido por su vida cultural a nivel colegial, más el fútbol americano. Pero adicional a eso, su decisión viene porque compró una casa, se casó este año, en eso lo felicité. Y aún así, pues él entendió que esta decisión de tener que moverse, empezar de nuevo, iba a ser difícil, así que ahora estaré preguntándole qué otra oportunidad él tuvo antes de su retiro. So Cody, you mentioned that you're living right now in OKC. You recently retired. So I want to ask you if you had any offers, like before taking the decision, because for a goalkeeper, being 32 years old, still young. And you look fit. You still you can have plenty more years. Like, do you have any other interest from other clubs?
Yes, I received about 4 different offers. Wow. This off season. The The problem with the offers were, first and foremost, they were not for a starting position. So I would be required to start at least as a backup, which at this
time kind of suck.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. And I'm not saying that my attitude, it's not an egotistical way to look at it, but I know I'm not a backup goalkeeper. I know I am a starter.
Come on, Cody. In 2018, you got selected to be the third best goalkeeper in the CONCACAF, behind Keylor Navas and Guillermo Ochoa. Like, what in the world?
Which was a phenomenal achievement, and I must say, I am grateful for my teammates and everybody who voted, and that everything that goes along with that, because that meant, you talk about an honor, that meant the world to me.
How many goalkeepers are in the CONCACAF?
I don't off the top of my head, but I know there's a few.
Hey, so ahora explicando lo que menciona Cody, tuvo cuatro ofertas donde él no se sintió a gusto porque lo que le estaban ofreciendo era un rol más de suplente. Así que él decidió mejor pues tomar otra dirección, no tanto por orgullo, él mismo lo dice humildemente que más por lo que él buscaba y decidió otra cosa. So Cody, you're saying 4 teams about you, and I really understand. We are kind of the same age, and I understand taking a decision at this time in your life, like getting married, having a kid, and trying to move and starting over is kind of heavy.
Of course.
First of all, do you feel good? Do you feel good about your decision about retiring and finally saying, oh, all right, I'm not playing more soccer?
I do. I am. As we sit here today and we talk about it, which let me stop you, because my parents might have a small heart attack. My wife isn't pregnant.
Okay.
We bought a house.
Not bad.
It's okay. The breaking news, right? Could you imagine? No, I have zero regrets. I feel athletically that I maximized my athletic potential.
For sure.
And I look at this new, and we could talk about, we'll get into that, soon, but the new avenue that I'm going to go down is going to help a lot of people, a lot of players. And that is what I want to do. And specifically the Caribbean player is who I want to help. So look, I am at peace with it. I have zero regrets. I've taken every opportunity I feel in my life, and I've maximized it. Look, this is proof positive that you and I are having this conversation, because, had I not taken a risk, I would have never.
Also, I mean, you're a really good goalkeeper, because you really keep and save that. What I said about if you had a kid or not, I know it's part of it.
I had to make that save. Yes, exactly. That's a good one.
You make a really good save. So what I'm gonna do, I'm not trying to stop you in your conversation, but I will be like translating.
Yes, of course.
So because I know we got to talk about a lot of things, especially the national team, day session, and what's your next move. Así que Cody, pues aquí tuve un error básico mencionando que pues él iba a tener un hijo, pero para que sus padres no tuviesen un ataque al corazón. Así que él trató de por lo menos arreglarlo. Así que él se siente muy seguro con la decisión que tomó. Se siente que fue la decisión correcta, pero que ahora él busca ayudar al jugador caribeño y estaremos hablando más a menudo de lo que él está haciendo. So, Cody, this past weekend, you played against Trinidad.
Yes.
1-1. I think it's a historic result for our national team, because you've been with us a long time. Especially you were the backup of probably one of the best goalkeepers all time in Puerto Rico, called Bill Goldet.
Correct.
How do you feel about that transition of being a backup and then knowing this guy, and after that having the career you have and also representing the Puerto Rico national team?
Of course. Well, first and foremost, Bill was very influential with me, or to me, I should say, because I backed him up when I was young. I was 20, 21, 22, 23 years of age. So I learned a lot. A kid, right? Especially as a goalkeeper, right? Who generally, the position you generally aren't a starter until you're older.
Yes.
I learned so much from him in term, not just as a goalkeeper, but as what a professional is. All the success that he had, it was no accident. It was down to his preparation. And to see that at an early age and to be influenced by him in a positive manner was extremely important. And I credit him for a lot of the professionalism that I took, throughout my career.
And for me, it's kind of crazy. Like, the talent he had was for way more. I'm not saying playing for Puerto Rico Islanders was like not too much, because he did big things. And Puerto Rico Islander, they make a statement in Puerto Rico. They said, we're here, we can do something, and they let the U.S. soccer that in Puerto Rico there's some football, but also I see this talent, like he could do better things in other clubs, like MLS, maybe Europe, but we don't have any control with that in the career. But right. I think Bill was amazing.
He was.
Still amazing. Not just the Spain against Puerto Rico. He stopped like 20 shots.
I know.
But I think Bill was historic.
I agree.
Cody está explicando su relación que tuvo con Bill Gaudet, porque fueron compañeros de equipo en el 2010 con los Puerto Rico Islanders. Él solamente tenía 22 años. Él dice que no aprendió rápidamente lo que fue su destreza y técnica, porque era muy joven. El portero usualmente siempre es mejor que debute más luego por la experiencia, pero aprendió mucho como profesional. Y eso lo hizo a él evolucionar y ser el jugador que hoy es hoy en día. All right, so talking about right now the Puerto Rico national team, a team that people are being really talking about. I've been talking about the Puerto Rico soccer for long, and I think this year have been different, because I know it was a lot of arguments about the other players that it was, but right now people are like, wait, all right, they were good, but what we're seeing right now is totally different. What Cody Laurendi can say about these players that the Puerto Rico national team are right now, like they have right now, and we're young.
Of course. Look, and let me preface that by saying the players who have played in the past, I have the utmost respect for, as not only players, but as human beings, because they are some of the best people that I've ever come across. So I want to make sure that's clear.
Así now, que Cody quiere dejar todo bien claro, que no tiene ningún problema con los jugadores que fueron convocados anteriormente, que él tiene absoluto respeto por todos ellos y que los respeta como persona y como jugador.
Now looking forward, the amount of young talent that Puerto Rico has developed, whether that be players that are playing on the island or players that are currently living in the U.S. and playing either at the USL League One level, USL Championship level, or MLS, or anywhere, right? Anywhere is something that I see in the future. I see obviously present, yes, but the future I don't think has ever been brighter for Puerto Rican football. I cannot remember a time, and yes, the time of the Bill Gaudets and the Noah Delgado and Alexis Rivera and Marco Velez. Love every single one of those people, but I think Puerto Rico is going to take that next step.
Así que Cody lo que está diciendo sobre la actual selección nacional, no tan solo los jóvenes que son, sino que el futuro que tiene es demasiado grande. Él está viendo algo que no se ha visto. Para los que escuchan Minuto 90 en los pasados programas, lo hemos comentado, y especialmente Arnaldo, que había mencionado que esta selección podría estar para grandes cosas. Y estoy de acuerdo y lo que menciona Cody, porque él estuvo ahí con la selección y pudo ver los jugadores, pero él dice que quitando y dándole respeto a lo que fueron la era de Noah, de Alexis Rivera, Marco Vélez, los Bill Gaudet, era muy buena, pero los que están ahora están ready para el siguiente nivel. So you're saying the current players that the average age is 21 years old.
21.
Like that's kiddos. I know
yes.
we're over 30, but this kind of kids, especially Wilfredo, with 17 years old, starting and doing it well. And right now you're mentioning that Puerto Rico national team, I mean, these current players are ready to take the next step.
Absolutely.
Which kind of players people need to watch out from this group?
So the obvious one is Wilfredo. Okay. Obviously, right. He is 17. Okay. But I will say this about Wilfredo, as good of a footballer as he is, he's got it up here. He's got it. He is full of personality, right? When I speak with him, and look, we just spent 2 weeks together, you know, hanging out in the hotel in our downtime and watching film and, you know, eating together. And he's different. He's different in the best possible way. So that is an obvious choice. He's in an organization in Orlando City with Oscar Pareja, who is going to get the best out of him. He's in an environment where he has, I'll be honest with you, no choice but to get better because of the players that he is going to be around. So that's the obvious one.
And we kind of agree in that because a few months back when you guys were in Dominican Republic for games.
And then Guatemala, yeah?
Yeah, in Guatemala, we talked with him. He was very short. He's 17. I understand. But in some ways, and you are the one that is going to fix what I'm saying right now.
Okay.
I'm probably going to be crazy. But Wilfredo have some things of Messi. Kind of quiet, short, got speed, drills, he can score. Do you agree with that? I'm not saying he's Messi.
I know yes, I understand what you're saying.
Like, people that don't know Wilfredo at least understand what type of player he is or
correct
become.
He is and I understand the comparison because he's a diminutive.
Right, because there was oh, this guy, he's crazy.
Right.
Like
so yeah, he's not Messi. But the skill set that he has is a level above any of his peers, and a lot of guys who have been professional for a long time.
So, aquí explicando, estábamos hablando de lo que es el grupo de jugadores que actualmente está en la selección. Y por obvias razones salió el nombre de Wilfredo. Yo estoy tratando de hacer una no comparación, sino ver un jugador donde tiene las características tal vez un poquito similares en lo que Wilfredo puede tener, porque cierta gente todavía no lo conoce. Tal vez el partido ante Trinidad fue el primer partido que vieron, pero Wilfredo, uno de los potencialmente de las próximas figuras del fútbol de Puerto Rico. Así que le estaba diciendo a Cody que tiene ciertas similitudes a Messi. Es rápido, tiene regate, es bajito, es callado, así que posiblemente puede tener mucho éxito, porque él menciona que de todos los jugadores que él ha estado en este grupo, él marca una diferencia, y más ahora que está en una organización como el Orlando City y un técnico como Oscar Pareja, el colombiano, que lo va a ir llevando poquito a poco. So, Cody, talking about the Puerto Rico national team, Dave Saracen, a guy that just came 12 days ago, something crazy about it, with a new group of players. First game was the qualifying round. He didn't got any friendly. He just came in and do the job. What can you say about Dave and in the Puerto Rico national team?
Yes, he came in, and obviously with the unfortunate circumstance of us not having time to have friendlies, to have a build up, right? We had, like you said, we have had days, not months, to prepare.
Or a World Cup qualifier.
For a World Cup qualifier. He simplified it for us. It was not, as you say, it's not rocket science, right?
That's what Ricky was saying over here in Minuto 90. He said for him was really easy because Dave was super simple.
Simple.
He went straight to the point. He said, do this, do that. That's it.
Yes, simple. And it was the best way to go about it, I think, was to keep it simple. We obviously did tactics, you know, there's a time and place for the tactical session, right? But what did we rely on? We relied on working for one another. So a cohesive group, a team-oriented group, right? Work rate, desire, heart, which our national team is known for, is for this.
Interesting because he's trying to create a new culture in the Puerto Rico players. Because he knows they were young with no experience, or at least lacking experience, and it's obvious. They're only 19, 20 years old. I mean, playing national team games is kind of big in any country in the world. But in Puerto Rico, things are different.
Of course.
And touching those things about heart, passion, like show, desire, is what we see.
Exactly.
It's what we see. And also with Dave, how you feel about it? I understand that you met him a long time ago. I think it was in 2014 when you played for Galaxy. He was there.
Correct. Yes, Dave was. Our paths crossed when I played for Galaxy. I was on the Galaxy 2. I was on their second team.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. All right. There you go. Exactly. Yeah. Phoenix Rising rival. There you go. Mm-hmm. And I interacted with Dave quite a lot. Bruce Arena was the head coach at the time. And I would always, I would say always, but 3 or 4 times a week, I'd come up and train with the first team. So I knew Dave, you know, and then obviously him coaching at North Carolina. He was familiar. We were familiar with one another, even though they were Eastern Conference and I was Western Conference. Look, the soccer world's a small world, so we've known each other for a good amount of time, and
especially playing in the same league.
Yeah. So his resume speaks for itself. He is a winner. He's won at a high level. He's won with teams that have big personalities, right? That you know, and they've been, you know, incredibly successful. So for him to come in for a brand new challenge, and for players who are,
he's not saying he's old or something. It's just at his age, after having a different national team's experience,
correct,
getting into a one that is trying to get a name in the global football is a challenging.
Exactly. But he did, you know, and credit also should go to Daryl Shore, who was the assistant, who I played for in 2013.
2013. Right. Let me make a stop real quick. Estamos hablando mucho. Ahora estamos entrando en tema de hablando de la selección, al igual cómo fue Dave Saracen en la llegada a la selección de Puerto Rico. Solamente tuvo 12 días. Él fue un entrenador que trató de trabajar simple y creo que es lo que va a continuar haciendo durante todas estas próximas convocatorias con los jugadores, donde enfocó más e ir al corazón, a la pasión y a la entrega. Y yo creo que en eso no se equivocó porque lo vimos, por lo menos en el último partido, porque no pudimos ver el Sanquí contra Puerto Rico. Y adicional a eso le estaba preguntando sobre su relación con Dave de cuando él lo conoció en el 2014, porque Cody fue exjugador del Galaxy 2, donde ahí tuvieron la experiencia de poderse encontrar, porque en ese momento Dave era asistente de Bruce Arenas, que estaba de técnico en el Galaxy. Adicional a eso, luego tuvieron varios encontronazos en la USL, porque Dave fue el técnico de North Carolina FC, mientras que Cody estaba en el OKC Energy. So Cody, talking about Dave, what you think will happen later on with Dave and this new group? of players that are so young. But at the same time, the most exciting part is this can change. A lot of players, like you mentioned, they can come in and out.
Yes.
Like right now, you got a big group, strong group, but right now, the federation and coaches are going to still looking for new players and all that kind of stuff. What you see for the future of Puerto Rico? Because right here, Ivan Gabriel, he sent us a question for you. He said, how Cody expect to help this new Puerto Rican national team generation of players? And I know it's not the same question, but it kind of get together. So what your response for, Ivan?
Well, so I would first say that I believe Dave is the right person for the job. Long term, I hope that that the federation can have stability with the coaching staff for a longer period of time, because I would say
for a few years, but let's see.
Correct. And as far as you know, I'm going to play my role here in helping the next generation. Would you like me to let the audience know my new endeavor? You can
start it. You can start it, because after this we can talk about your next move.
Okay. So I am 100% behind helping this generation of Puerto Rican player break into the U.S. market. And by doing so, by utilizing the connections that I have built up over the years with both coaches and front office staff throughout the USL and MLS, along with the NISA League, which is another league in the U.S., and with the CPL, which is the Canadian Premier League. So I feel okay. So go ahead.
All right. Ahora mismo Iván nos estaba preguntando aquí que qué Cody espera en cuanto a ayudar a esta nueva generación de jugadores de Puerto Rico, y él está mencionando que su idea ahora es poder ayudar a jugadores, técnicos, hasta gente que sea, vamos a decir, administrativa, front office, directores deportivos, el mismo marketing en el mercado de los Estados Unidos y también en Canadá, en la Premier League, porque mucha gente no sabe de la liga canadiense donde tuvo inicio. I think, Cody, how many years the Premier League from Canada has been playing? 2 years?
2 or 3.
2 or 3. So, esta liga es completamente nueva. Y al igual que los Estados Unidos, no es nueva, pero ya ha encontrado un sistema donde está la MLS, la USL está dividida en 3, con la USL Championship, USL League 1, USL League 2, y luego de eso empiezan todas las ligas como la NPSL y las que ya mencionó Cody. So, él está encargado de ayudar a este grupo de jugadores, técnicos y lo demás, a que puedan abrirse al mercado de Estados Unidos. Así que, gente, pendiente a Cody con lo que viene, porque vamos a estar hablando ahora sobre eso. All right, Cody, you can continue.
So, the best way that I know how to help the next generation, what I will plan on doing, or what I am doing, is working in the player representation business, working as a player's agent. What I've seen, what I've experienced throughout the years, the players that I've met recently, the new players from the national team standpoint, they getting back to how we spend our days in our camp.
It's crazy, like how many good players are with no teams.
Correct. Exactly. And let me make it clear, I am not saying that I'm a miracle worker, right? I think that's
yeah. I'm gonna explain that.
Yeah, right. Right. It's not as if
Cody is a god right now. He's saving. Right. He's saving again.
Yes, exactly. No, I said I am simply going to try my best, right? Under promise, over deliver.
Okay, gotcha.
Right. Okay. I believe. Look, I believe in this generation of Puerto Rican footballer. Now, I want to help open doors for them. What level that's at? It could be at the USL level. Hopefully, it's at the MLS level. It could be at the NPSL. It could be at the Canadian Premier League. It does not matter.
Or MLS academies.
Or exactly. what I care about is that the Puerto Rican player gets regular a training environment, much like Will is in right now. Will is a great example because those players are going to bring him from here to here. Okay. What does that do to the national team if we have 11 Wills?
Oof.
Right.
I'm saying, I mean, I'm realistic, Cody. I'm not that kind of person because I've been in soccer for long, and I'm really honest to everyone. And not just here on the show. Everyone that asked me about the Puerto Rican national team going to World Cup and all that kind of stuff, hey, I said, hey, wait a minute, step by step.
Correct.
It's a complicated thing. There's a few things that we need to achieve first. First of all, dominate the Caribbean.
Yes.
Second, thinking about the Gold Cup, like it's a step, and it's not just in Puerto Rico. It's just like humans. We always think like, oh, they're making it, they're doing it, we doing it too. It looks, but it's not.
Right.
It's playing Spanish. So, así que Cody lo que está intentando pues es representar jugadores con su nueva agencia, First Team Agency, right?
Correct.
First Team Agency, y donde él busca, como ya mencioné, quererle abrir esa puerta a los boricuas que están o en la isla o inclusive en los Estados Unidos a que puedan llegar a uno de estos equipos e inclusive que pueda irse a cualquier otro club. Y él trae el ejemplo de Wilfredo, donde empezó en la cantera del Orlando City y ahora ya, gracias a Dios, tiene un contrato con el primer equipo del club. Así que él mismo dice, wow, ¿qué sería de 11 Wilfredo ahora mismo en el equipo? Y no mencionemos también la firma de Nico Cardona con el Hartford Athletic, que es algo que fue muy importante para nuestra selección y lo será para un futuro. So, Cody, talking about a little bit more your agency, your next move right now, and I really like that you look really confident. You're calm. You're ready for your next step. You probably can tell me about a little bit how is this going on. And I know you mentioned right now that you are basically not trying to be a god and saving everyone's career. You just help and being honest.
Yes.
You're representing quality.
Correct.
Quantity. And
correct.
And looking at this in Puerto Rico, are you what's going to be your next process with this? Now that you're in Oklahoma, you got players right now that you're trying to represent. So what's your next move with this First Team Agency?
Yes. So the first deal that I did was for our defender, Raul Gonzalez. Raul was with Memphis over the past. He had an injury, so it kind of kept him out of play with Memphis as of late. But I look at Raul as a player who's going to have a very, very bright future. He's a little older, but he's somebody who not only gives his all the time. So effort is never in question, but he's somebody who I believe gets better as the game goes on. He reads the game incredibly well. He is a player that is multi-talented. You could put him on the left. You could put him on the right. You could put him in the center.
You know what's crazy about it? And I'm going to add this to you. He don't look fast, but he is.
Until
he's so smart. Especially the assist he gave to Ricky. But I don't know if you agree with me. I think Raul is that kind of player that could be a really, really good midfielder.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't know. He has so much talent, so many abilities, and I think he's that kind of player that can do more. So what's going on with Raul right now? That you're saying that he'd been playing with Memphis.
Correct.
The USL Championship. What's going on with him right now?
Yes. So I recently negotiated his contract.
Okay.
It's a new 1-year deal. There are quite a few USL teams that are only offering 1-year contracts at the moment. So
and of course, this pandemic year.
Correct.
All that kind of stuff. Okay.
Correct. So speaking with their head coach wanted him back, and it's obvious to see why. Raul is, you know what you're going to get from him as a player, as somebody in the locker room, and he fits the mold of the player that I want to represent. because his values as a human being, not just as a footballer, but his values as a human. He is a outstanding human being.
And it's good to mention that because a few people, and I think people that are not in the business, they always think players are just they're more recognized about what they can do on the field.
Correct.
But in these days, they check on everything.
Of course.
Social media, mental health, fitness, long-term career, anything.
Correct.
So speaking in Spanish right now, explaining the situation with Raúl. So Cody ahora mismo va a estar representando a Raúl González, nuestro lateral izquierdo. Él dice que no es tan joven como los demás, solamente tiene 26 años. He's 26, right?
26. Yeah.
Él tiene 26 años, tenía contrato con Memphis y él fue directo a hablar con el entrenador y obviamente lo quieren y está negociando lo que es un contrato de 1 año, porque estamos en año de pandemia, de COVID, y muchos clubes de la USL eso es lo que están ofreciendo, así que no les extrañe que si algún otro jugador de Puerto Rico quisiera llegar a una de estas ligas, eso posiblemente es lo que estará a la mano, pero él también dice que representa a Raúl por lo que es fuera de la cancha, como él es como persona, los valores que tiene y el peso que tiene en el vestuario para poder pues llevar ese mensaje y ser un hombre maduro. So Cody, you're saying Raúl is part of your first team agency. Any other players right now from the Puerto Rico national team that will probably join you later on or you are trying to represent?
There's a good amount of guys that I have spoken with individually that I've told them I will do my best to help them. Again, I cannot promise you. That's our conversation, right?
You're not
right. I can't promise you. I can't guarantee anything. All I can promise you is that I will do my best to present them as players to clubs that are in need of various positions.
And this is very new in Puerto Rico, Cody, because back in time, we got probably that people know 1 or 2 agents. And now players understand the responsibility and the importance of having an agent. Mm-hmm. And not just players. Mm-hmm. Like you mentioned coaches, front office, even people in media got agents to move them on, because it's not how good you are on the field. You need someone that could represent you well and show you to the world what kind of things you can do.
Correct.
And I was going to ask you about a player like Wani O'Neal. Like, he's really good, very talented, but my thoughts here is I'm still surprised that he don't have a club. I think he's still in college.
He's still in college. Correct.
But he's so talented, man. He's so good.
Do you want to translate what we've just spoken about? Because I have great things to say about Wani as well.
You can do it right now.
Okay. So Wani, along with Nico Cardona, is those two people are people that I hope one day that I could help achieve. And look, Nico is already going to get an opportunity with Hartford through his hard work, dedication, and endeavor, and he is going to do fantastic. I hope that one day I can work for Wani because of the sheer determination that he plays with, and the willingness to go run through a brick wall for the team.
All right, let me translate that. So aquí yo me hice el atrevimiento de preguntarle sobre Juani, porque yo le pregunté qué otros jugadores en la selección te gustaría representar o tienes en mente. Y les dije de Juani, y él está mencionando la calidad que tiene, la mentalidad que tiene, pero sobre todo que sí él está interesado en representarlo, al igual que Nico Cardona en un futuro. Juani es un jugador excepcional, la mentalidad que tiene, es todavía joven, aún está en la universidad, la misma precisamente que estuvo Nico Cardona y también Kevin. Y creo que esto es una buena movida, así que él seguirá explicando el proceso con Juani y ya antes de ir acabando, preguntarle otras cosas. So, Cody, you can continue right now.
Yes. So speaking about Wani, he's nothing but effort. And that is such a valuable asset as a player. Coaches will inevitably be drawn to him because he wears his heart on his sleeve, and that could be a good thing and that could be a bad thing, right? So as long as he's got teammates around him that can,
looks like a future captain, same as
correct, exactly. The intangibles, the things that coaches look for, because everybody is talented with the ball at their feet, right?
Everyone can play.
Everybody can play. Especially at the professional level. Look, everybody's talented. Everybody is. Right. But what separates you from a teammate? And one of the things that I know teams are going to look for is effort, because you cannot teach that. And the effort and the willingness to be selfless are Nico and Wani both possess that.
And it's good to hear that, because you mentioned it before. Dave Hattersham is pushing up to go on effort and do more. Así que Cody lo que explica aquí es que Juan es un jugador que le gusta y es alguien que promueve mucho el esfuerzo. Que él menciona también que eso es lo que se busca ahora en lo que son los jugadores, porque todo el mundo puede jugar, pero todo el mundo es talentoso a nivel profesional y tiene mucha razón, pero ¿qué te hace a ti diferente para separar para separarte del grupo? So Cody, one last thing, trying to finish this episode. I got a question over here for you, kind of funny, a comment, but I will send it to you right now. What kind of message you have for this new group of players, and also the players that are trying to get better and in the future trying to be part of the national team and playing football anywhere in the world?
So for the next generation of players that are attempting to break into the national team, I would say, the obvious one is to continue to work hard, continue to sacrifice. If it's something that you truly, truly want, you will make the necessary sacrifices to make that dream a reality. Whether that means not going out with your friends on the weekend, whether that means doing the extra sessions that it takes, whether that means showing up early to training and leaving late. All those things, I speak from experience. It's the only reason why I was successful with professional soccer, was because it's hard to beat the guy who doesn't quit, and I will never ever quit. That's a mentality that you have to develop. So for the future generation, I implore, it's a requirement that you don't just do the bare minimum, you go above and beyond.
Exacto. So aquí el mensaje, le acabo de decir a Cody que le dé un mensaje a la nueva generación de jugadores que estén en Puerto Rico y tengan el deseo de jugar fuera de Puerto Rico y también representar la selección de Puerto Rico. Y una de las cosas que él enfatiza es que es bien difícil tú poderle ganar a una persona que nunca se quita, que eso es lo que a él le trajo éxito en su carrera, que fue algo que lo hizo a él marcar la diferencia y hacerle de su trabajo, de su posición como portero. Y nada, solo le menciona que sigan esforzándose, que sigan trabajando duro y sobre todo hacer las cosas bien, porque el estar jangueando son cosas que son difíciles y mantener el enfoque es lo que te va a hacer crear una gran diferencia. So Cody, there's a comment from someone over here that he's trying to
is that Abner?
Yeah,
Abner.
Cody represents me as an equipment manager for any team in the U.S.
Tell him I got him, and tell him well, Abner, I miss you, brother. I miss you. A lot of great times spent with him. He was our equipment manager when I played for the Islanders. So nothing but love and respect, brother.
All right, Cody, thank you for being over here. I think it went pretty well. I think it went great. first time in Minuto 90 we do Spanglish. I'm used to it. I live in the United States, so to be honest with you, for me, it's trying to make comfortable whoever comes here and trying to make it great. So I had a good time. Hopefully you too.
I had a great time.
I hope your parents are good for the comment I say. But
thank you.
I'll see you next time. I will follow you and, of course, making contact with you. So thank you, Cody. Ahora lo voy a sacar aquí rapidito. Cody Laurendi, ex-portero de la Selección de Puerto Rico, estuvo aquí en Minuto 90 respondiendo a algunas de las preguntas que le estuvo haciendo, hablando de la selección nacional, también hablando de lo que es Dave Sarachan en nuestra selección, de los jugadores que están actualmente en Puerto Rico y su nuevo paso, que sería su agencia First Team Agency, donde estará representando jugadores, entrenadores y también gente que sea parte de un front office, que trabajen como director deportivo, etcétera. Nada, gente, gracias por sintonizar Minuto 90. Estos fueron unos minutos bien buenos. Recuerden seguirnos a través de las redes sociales. En YouTube, suscríbete, dale a la campana para que te llegue el mensaje del programa. Y nada, será hasta la próxima. Sigue pendiente a Minuto 90, que esta segunda temporada acaba de comenzar. Así que, chao, chao.